Hey folks, Jack Spencer here, Practical Golf for All. My last lesson was pitching and chipping. My last video, pitching and chipping. Today I wanted to get into greenside, and I emphasize greenside bunker play. And, excuse me. So, the one thing, we talk about different things. This is the only shot in golf where you really don't want to hit the ball. You want to move the sand underneath the ball. Today was a very nice day here in western Pennsylvania, and a friend of mine and I got to go out and play, and I got to show him this on a greenside bunker on one of the holes. There wasn't hardly anybody on the course, and we had all the time in the world. So if you happen to have access to a practice bunker, that's great. I pick up these little tees all the time that people leave behind. They shouldn't, but guys tease me about them. I use them for par threes and short par fours, but so you get a piece of it, and I throw them out, which is what should be done anyway. But so you get a tee that's about maybe, let's say, an inch long. If you have access to a practice bunker, you stick it down in the bunker to sand height. You put your ball on it, so your ball looks like it's sitting right where it would normally on the sand, but there's a tee underneath it. And what you want to do in a situation in a greenside bunker for a blast shot is you want to hit that tee under the ball. The sand will move the ball, not your club face. And in order to do that, you need to accelerate. A good rule of thumb is you want to hit that sand hard enough and accelerate through it so that you throw the sand, theoretically, from under your ball to your target area where you want it to land on the green. So think about that the next time. Are you swinging at your greenside bunker shots that hard? And you can certainly, that should be your goal, to get that kind of acceleration through. With a greenside bunker, if you want the ball to kind of stop a little more quickly, in your follow through, what you need to do is you want to hinge quickly on your backswing, accelerate down under the ball, not the ball, underneath it. If you want it to stop more quickly, you hold your face open like that up towards the sky on your follow through. If you want to hit the classic, Johnny Miller talks about chunks and runs, you go through it and you let it roll over so that it's like that. So that ball will chase out a little bit more once it lands. And what I do, excuse me again, here in my little practice area, I have a piece of pipe insulation, foam pipe insulation. I wrap it in duct tape so I don't beat the heck out of it. I cut it at 1.5 inches, which might be a little bit high, but I'm hitting it off a mat and things like that. So what I do is you just put the ball on top of that pipe insulation and you practice. And what you want to do, you don't want to hit the ball at all. You want to move that pipe insulation right to your target. Whether you keep, some people like a more open stance for a greenside bunker. Some, the tendency now is to get a little bit more square with it, whatever you like, kind of like towards the middle of your stance. Early hinge and then accelerate down under the ball, hit the pipe thing out like that. Sometimes the ball kind of chased behind it a lot higher. If you really want to open the face on it, you want to get fancy with it and impress your friends, you can actually, hit that thing out from under the ball, and the ball just drop right down from whence it came. So that's a kind of a good practice thing. If you want to go out and get a bag of sand and a board, that's great too. If you don't mind doing it in your yard, you have access to a yard to do it. You just scoop up a face full of sand on your. You need a whole bunch. Just a face full of sand on your sand wedge. Dump it on the board. Put the ball on and do the same thing with it. So there's no real reason to fear a greenside bunker shot. As long as you understand what you're trying to do. And I can't emphasize enough about expectations. If you really struggle in greenside bunkers and you get to the point where you're getting them out and you got 25 or 30 feet for for a par putt or whatever, that's great. That's a good shot. Your next shot's a putt. You know, once you get more confidence, if you want to dial it in a little more closely than that, you know, do so. But initially, if you're not confident at all in greenside bunkers, you know, what we want to get you away from is leaving one in the bunker, leaving one in the fringe between the bunker and the green, or sculling it over the green. So, you know, set your expectations where they belong, and know that this is, again, the only shot in golf that you do not want to hit the ball. You want to move the sand under the ball. The sand will lift it up, pop it up, set it down on the green quite nicely. That being said, look at your bunker. Here in Western Pennsylvania, we got a lot of hills, a lot of slopes. A lot of the bunkers don't have good drainage in them. A lot of them, guys don't rake them. You know, God knows when the last time is they saw one of those little tiller things to fluff off the sand. If you get into wet sand, hard sand, sand that's mixed with dirt, you can't blast out of that. I promise you, if you try to blast out of that, you're gonna skull the ball. That's just, it's gonna bounce. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna hit where it belongs behind the ball, but it's gonna bounce the club head up, and it's going to go, the edge is going to go into the back of the ball, and it's going to be a skull. If you happen to get into that type of a situation where the sand is real wet, it's real firm, real compacted, mixed with dirt, whatever, you can't open your club face. You must keep it square, and then you just take your medicine. There's no way you're going to control like how quickly you can stop that ball, anything like that. It's just not going to happen. It's the rub of the game or whatever. So, you know, look at your lie. If your ball, if it's real soft sand and your ball, you know, almost half of your ball is sitting down, then you know you can blast out of that. But you know you need to really accelerate down through and underneath that ball. It'll pop right up. Last thing is, if you get a plug lie, you know, it usually happens in the face of a bunker. They call it, you know, the classic fried egg, where the ball's sitting there and you got that circle around it. What you want to do with that, fortunately, it's almost always on an upslope. So what you want to do with that, you don't open your face. You keep it square. You focus on the back edge of that fried egg thing, and you pull the club up abruptly like you would normally do it, and you just stick it right down in the sand. No follow through. And you can stick it down there pretty hard. You can, like that. The sand will stop it. That was a tiny follow through. And what that ball's gonna do, it's gonna pop up in the air. Probably not gonna go real far, so, you know, don't be afraid to hit it. It's going to pop up in the air and land pretty softly. And again, that's not one even the pros are thinking about making. That's when they're thinking that, you know, they get it 10 feet or whatever, they're happy, and certainly if you miss a green by let's say the pin's back right and you plug one in the front left, you're not gonna, and it's plugged, you're not gonna get that ball back to the back right pin, and you're just not. But you just swing harder, but it'll go a little further. But mostly that ball's gonna pop up in the air and be a ton of sand with it, and it'll land relatively softly and dribble on. But that's just, again, that's accepting what you have. And so I think if you do this, you won't be intimidated at all by greenside bunker shots, and you actually might get to the point where you'd rather have that than a really complicated little chip or something from some deeper rough. It's not that hard of a shot. It's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing, and it's the knowledge that you're not trying to hit the ball. You're trying to move the sand underneath the ball. And in order to move that sand instinctively, you should know, I need to accelerate through this. It's sand, you know? And by that acceleration and by getting underneath it, then that's going to give you your more successful results. So I hope you enjoyed that little tip. I really kind of like that pipe thing because it's a mind thing. It helps you focus on the one shot in golf where you really do not want to hit the ball. Again, you know, if you happen to like these, hit like or whatever. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask them. I look at this and see if somebody has something and I can, you know, offer a little bit more advice. You know, I'm happy to do that. I don't get paid for this, just something I'm putting out there. But I appreciate it. And if you have a friend or something that you think might benefit from some of these little tidbits, please pass it along. Thank you so much.